You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, one of the biggest stories last year was actually a man going over into women's swimming at the University of Pennsylvania. The guy was actually named Lia Thomas. Lia Thomas was an average swimmer on the men's team. And then one day he decided that he wanted to, quote unquote, transition into a woman and swim on the women's team. What happened? It changed the game. Lia Thomas, now identified as Lia Thomas, actually went and won an NCAA title ranked number 1 in the nation. On the men's team, this person was ranked something around 472 as a male. But the woke media wants you to believe that there is no biological difference between a man and a woman in sporting competition. We know that is not the case. And I said it many times that in order for this to stop, women are actually going to have to fight back because these schools, these woke schools, they're not going to protect you. And the women at UPenn, they found out the hard way because Lia/Lia Thomas was in their locker room, changing, exposing his genitalia. No respect for the women whatsoever. And I said, women, you better wake up. You're going to have to fight this thing yourself. That actually brings us to a college, Roanoke College, where the women actually stopped a Lia Thomas 2.0 from happening. They said no. The school said yes, but they kept fighting. And now this person is not on the swim team. Check this out. Breitbart, Virginia College women battle to prevent male-born trans woman from joining swim team. They fought back and they won. They didn't get a legal victory, but they put enough pressure on this person and the swimmer said, all right, I'm out. That is what is going to need to happen to stop this. It says here, a group of female college swimmers in Virginia won their battle to prevent a male-born, quote-unquote, transgender woman from joining their team, according to multiple reports. The trans student, whose name has not been released, had competed with mediocre statistics on the men's team a year before trying to join the women's team after supposedly transitioning to a woman. Where have we heard that from before? That was exactly what happened in the Lia Thomas situation. Mediocre on the men's team and then decides, I want to swim against the women. And we talked about this in another video a few days ago, where the Women's Swimming World Cup, or the Swimming World Cup, actually had an open category for transgenders to compete. No one signed up because the end goal is to swim against the women and dominate them. Let's continue on. Initially, Roanoke College officials told the women that this trans athlete would be joining their team whether they liked it or not. And according to the New York Post, even after taking a year off to quote unquote transition, just like Lia Thomas, he had already begun closing in on beating record times earned by the women on the team in the first few practice sessions he attended. Yeah, you guys saw where this was actually going. But the women were not willing to just bow down and accept the school's proclamation that the trans athlete would be joining their team. And after repeated meetings with the team squad captains banded together and presented their reservations to school officials. The 3 team captains, Kate Pearson, 19, Lily Mullins, 20, and Bailey Gallagher, 20, said they felt utterly abandoned by school officials who just handed down decrees about the trans athlete without asking the women on the team how they felt about the issue. Kate Pearson, for instance, told the media that all the women on the team were perfectly happy that the student who was initially on the school's men's swim team wanted to transition. Quote, "Yes, do what makes you happy," she said. Well, I got to give these women a little bit of blowback on that. When you say do what makes you happy, they're coming after your sport. They're coming after your sport. So I would have not actually said that right there. Maybe they were actually thinking, hey, this person just wants to transition. We're good as long as they don't actually invade our spaces. But that's the thing. When you come out and you make statements like that, you're opening up a whole new can of worms. But let's continue on. But then the school held a Zoom meeting with the team and told them that he was also going to be joining the women's team. Pearson noted that everyone immediately began walking on eggshells over the issue. Quote, "Nobody knew what to do. Nobody thought it would honestly get here. A lot of people, knowing this individual, thought that it wouldn't get to the point of competition," Pearson said. "I could have told you it was going to go there. If you knew that this person was on the men's swim team and they decided to transition, you had to know that this person was coming for your locker room and coming for your records." The team captain added that the women on the team nearly unanimously said, "We do not want this to happen." Many started getting very agitated and emotional about the problem, worrying that their efforts would be diminished as a man beat their records and took their slots, and worried that other teams may decide not to compete against them over the unfairness of it all. Quote, "We kept getting put in these situations, and it was very stressful. And every single night we were discussing that," Pearson added. "I was going to bed at 3 a.m. just thinking about it, thinking what could happen, what couldn't happen, constantly stressed, crying just all the time, every single day. We just couldn't get a break from it, and we have studies," she explained. Eventually, the team cooperated in writing a letter explaining that they did not have any issue with trans people, but felt a man joining their team would not be fair, so they opposed it. But school officials and coaches maintained that their feelings didn't matter. And Pearson said the stonewall they faced was, quote, "a big kind of stab in the chest for all." Yeah. What did you actually think was going to happen? You say that, hey, you're happy for this person, that they transition, but when you actually go and do that, especially when you're in sports, they're coming for you. And the school is going to have their back, and they're going to tell you to shut up. It's just that clear. They were telling you to shut up. Quote, "They were like, this just makes us feel so unheard by the school and unsupported that they would allow a whole entire women's team to quit for one individual and still just let them make their own season like as a one person team, right?" Pearson said. Pearson also alleges that the trans student trying to join the team used their letter to try and ramp up hate crime accusations against the women by sharing the letter with the college's radical LGBTQ activists. And then the trans activists accused the women of trying to make him commit suicide because being rejected made him feel bad. Yeah. You see the agenda, man? You see the agenda. I mean, this is just outrageous here. And I don't want to read the whole thing here, but there's some other stuff I do want to touch on right here because this is pretty long right here. It does say that the school also held a meeting with both the male and female team in attendance so that everyone could air grievances and vote on the matter. Quote, I was given how the whole women's team felt, like we support you, this person, but when it comes to the athletic side of things, we just think it's biologically unfair. And we were giving true statistics, she said. But you know what? They didn't care. They didn't care because it says eventually the school's vote favored on following the trans athlete to join the team, even though many said they felt pressured to vote yes. The board. Yeah, they were pressured to vote yes. Unbelievable. And in early practices, the trans athlete proved that he could probably blow all their records out of the water. Yeah. This is crazy right here. This is crazy. My goodness. This is just outrageous right here. That this is being allowed to happen and these schools are not protecting any of the women. None of them. None of them whatsoever. Now look at this. The resistance to his participation eventually drove the trans athlete to decide not to join the team. Yes, I commend these women for sticking by the guns. And in the face of this school backing this trans student and not them, they didn't back down. And you're going to have to know, to you other female athletes out there, you're going to have to fight for yourselves. These schools, they're too woke. They don't care about you. They are more terrified of the alphabet mafia coming after them. They're not going to protect you. You're going to have to do what these women did. Keep the pressure on. And I'm willing to bet at UPenn, if the female swimmers actually did what these women did, I'm willing to bet that Lia Thomas would have not been on that swim team. They have to keep the pressure on because there's going to be another Lia Thomas come out the blue and try this again. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.